Hey, liberal fruitcakes. The process of impeachment. Let's talk about it. I've seen a lot of posts regarding impeachment, saying that Trump needs to be impeached. Trump needs to be impeached! Yet in every single one of those posts, nobody gives credible evidence on why they believe that, outside of saying, have you seen what he's done to our country? I'm just gonna knock something out of the way here real quick. Just because you don't like what a president or politician does, doesn't mean it's impeachable. And I think many weigh too much significance on the term impeachment, when the reality is it's no different than the term indictment. So let's look through the process. There are two main events that happen in the process of impeachment. The first is impeachment in the House of Representatives. First, House members will decide whether they want to draft articles of impeachment. Then the House Judiciary Committee will investigate the claims and potential articles of impeachment. Then they will draft the articles of impeachment, and then that goes to a vote. Now this only requires a simple majority. That's 218 out of 435 members, resulting in an official House impeachment. Now while yes, this does mean it's an official impeachment, that's not the end of the story. And in 100% of cases of impeachment, it led to nothing. Now you guys are gonna cry, but why not? They don't deserve to be in office anymore. It's quite simple. Like I said, a House impeachment is just like an indictment, like a grand jury. Now, a grand jury is a group of people who decide that there is sufficient evidence or enough evidence to support a criminal trial. That means House impeachments and grand juries are pretty much the exact same thing. It's just a different word for the exact same thing. They're kind of like synonyms. Let's just get something out of the way. Just because a House impeaches a president or indicts the president doesn't mean they're guilty, because in this country, you're innocent until proven guilty. Now we move to step 2, a trial by the Senate. Now this is carried out just like any court of law. There is absolutely no difference. First, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court is the presiding official over the trial. The senators serve as the jury. The House members, because they drafted the articles of impeachment, act as the prosecuting attorneys. And the president, just like any person on trial, receives counsel as well. He'll have his own team. Once all the evidence has been submitted, the Senate moves to a vote to either convict or acquit the president. Conviction leads to the removal of the president, and the vice president becomes the president. Just to clarify, that means if Trump were to be impeached and found guilty in the Senate, J.D. Vance still gets to be the president. You guys don't get to just pick who you want to be president until the next election. Acquittal means all charges are dropped. So in the case of acquittal, that impeachment doesn't matter. Because like I said, it's like an indictment. It basically just disappears. It doesn't affect anything. Now in the entirety of the U.S. history, there have only been 3 presidents to be impeached. Andrew Johnson, Bill Clinton, and Donald Trump. And guess what? Nothing happened! Because like in any court case, the threshold for conviction is extremely high. Just like in a court case, there has to be beyond a reasonable doubt. Now the things you can be impeached for are 1, treason. And you have to be able to prove it. And do you know what? It's unbelievably hard to prove treason. Why? Because just because you don't like an action, or you feel like it goes against the country, doesn't make it treasonous. 2, bribery. This is one that is also very hard. If you believe Donald Trump is guilty of bribery, you have to look at your own party, because any political donation could be viewed as a bribe, which is why it's so hard to get a bribery charge. Other high crimes and misdemeanors, these are really ambiguous, which is why it's really hard to get anything done. Now, why do you think the threshold is so high? Because the President of the United States is voted in by the people. Which means just because a group of people don't like what he's doing, doesn't mean they get to subvert the will of the people by removing him from office. We keep a very high threshold to protect people from egregious overstepping or malicious intentions towards a political opponent. So I would really love it if you just stop using the word impeachment, because it's not going to change anything. It literally is just a presidential fancy word for indictment. And until a seated president is found guilty by the Senate, they're innocent. Have a good day!